Why do you think inflation is going to get worse? What makes you say that?
Well, we've been creating inflation for over a decade. All the years of quantitative easing put a lot of inflation into the pipeline. And the Fed has barely withdrawn that liquidity. I think we're still seeing the impact of that, and especially the inflation that it unleashed during the COVID pandemic. So I still think we have a ways to go to catch up. Meanwhile, government policy is still inflationary. We have very expansionary fiscal policy. The government is running enormous budget deficits. That's highly inflationary. And even though the Fed has raised rates, you still have negative real rates, and we're not encouraging people to save. People are still borrowing as much as they can. The savings rate is near the lows. The credit card debt is near record highs. So the Fed's rate hikes have not really altered the spending and savings decisions, which I think are key to bringing the inflation rate down. So as long as people keep on spending, I don't see any way we're going to get down to 2%.
And on another point you mentioned, you mentioned the super core inflation measure. That's core inflation x home and shelter. So let me ask you, does government data, CPI, reflect what Americans are actually seeing? Does it reflect real inflation?
Well, the real inflation is the expansion of the money supply. That's what inflation is. A consequence of that is that prices go up. Now, does the CPI fully capture the extent to which aggregate prices are going up? I don't think so, and I think that's deliberate. I think the CPI was designed to give you a low reading because the politics of the number, the government made it up. It's like a scorecard on government policy, and obviously the government wants to get a good grade, and so the CPI was designed to make inflation lower. But I think if you kind of double the official number, that's probably close to accurate. You know, I mean, it's obviously not precise, but I think you're a lot closer if you double whatever the CPI is. So if the CPI is 2, it's probably 4. If the CPI is 6, which is what it is now, it's probably 12.